Dead Channel Duo Podcast, episode number 60. How are you doing, Alexander?
Doing pretty well. I'm hanging in there, Andy. How are you?
Yeah, fine. My
Fine.
usual.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a rough week for me, man. We talked about it a little bit before the podcast. I'm not going to get too much into it, but, basically, the job search for me has been a trying one. And I'm taking a job that I know I'm not going to like and doesn't pay me what I feel I'm worth, but I'm just taking it so that I have at least some income coming in, and it's better than unemployment. So I've been coming to terms with that.
Whatever puts food on the family. To quote George Bush.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great quote. That's a good one. Yeah, it's like, I'm just going to take this, and I realize it probably won't be a long-term thing. It might lead to another opportunity. Like, you never know how life is going to go. So, for example, I started at GameStop as a holiday temp. I never thought in a million years it would have led to what it led to, which was, I think, 6 or 7 years of employment, and pretty good employment, by the way. And then I left for, my previous employer that I'm not allowed to name legally. They made me sign a document saying I'm not allowed to talk about them.
NDA.
But it's sort of an NDA. It's more, it was like a washing of the hands, if it makes sense. So you're going to you're going to get a severance package, and here's it literally 47 pages. Where you're waiving your right to sue them. I can't say anything derogatory about them publicly. If I were to call up one of my coworkers and say, "Hey, I found this new job here. You should come work with me or for me or whatever." That is a violation of this agreement that I signed, and they could prosecute me legally, sue me for damages. I'm not allowed to do that for a year. So, I actually don't talk to coworkers at all anymore because I don't want them to insinuate that I'm saying, hey, not that I have some great job right now or that I'm handing out opportunities. But, it's, that was another job that I took, that I was like, well, this might work out long term. It might not. And I spent 9 years there. So, I guess, maybe this job, maybe it leads to something. But I just wish it paid more.
Maybe you'll get promoted to CEO in a month.
At this particular company, I know that's not in the cards.
But if you did, I mean,
I knew it was a job that I'm probably not going to stay at very long when I called in, to do some follow up as far as background check and all that, and they kind of sort of didn't remember who I was, but I'm sitting there going
who?
Yeah. So it's been interesting. I'm used to working in a place where everybody kind of knows who I am, and that's the normal thing in the workplace. Generally, people know who you are when you work there, but it's not the case right now.
Cheers.
So it's been a fun one. Anyway, Andy, what have you been watching? What have you been playing this week?
Watching. It was nothing, and then this podcast has been so delayed. There has been some stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I watched Low Tide, The First Temptation of Christ. It's a very controversial film that Christians are not a fan of. Krampus, our pick this week. Golden Hour, and The Two Popes. So I guess very religious.
Okay.
Playing, I finished South Park: The Stick of Truth, I guess, because last week we started while I was on the last mission.
Mm-hmm.
I played through The Fractured Butthole. And then I've been playing the OG Super Mario Brothers.
It's a good pick, man. It's a good pick. So I want to go back to that one thing. What was the movie that you said was kind of controversial?
The First Temptation of Christ.
The first?
Yeah, it's called The First Temptation of Christ.
Oh, I've never heard of that one. I just know
The Last Temptation of Christ is Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, and I know that one was really controversial for its time, even though if you really break it down, if you really break down the message behind that movie, it's actually a positive one, but some people kind of took it
I only
differently.
Watched because of the controversy. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
It's a Brazilian movie. It's supposed to be a comedy.
Oh.
And Jesus is gay in it.
Wow.
Just check it out.
That's
Not really, but it's not good. I don't think it was that good. I only watched it because of controversy.
Well, controversy creates cash. That's a truth. Like, you only watched it because it was controversial, and there's so many things in media that are that way. I mean,
technically, my pick for next week is controversial amongst recent news.
Okay,
well, it's a fun week, I guess.
I'm actually looking forward to that, just because I don't know what you're
pick.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's so much controversy nowadays over the littlest things. So, I feel like that storm has kind of cleared, though, Andy. I feel like people are getting they're getting back into Andy. Like, Andy's repairing his image.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
Oh,
but yeah, I guess that's a controversy.
It's just
I'll talk about it whenever my pick is revealed. What I'm talking about.
It's just me, Josh, and Andy here. But yeah, this week has been kind of light for me. I've been on that job search grind, so I can't. Been staying up to date with The Mandalorian. I cannot recommend that series enough. I think it's really cool. They're doing a lot of really awesome things with that show that I'm holding out faith that episode 9 of Star Wars will be good, but I'm not really a big Star Wars fan anyway. You guys know this, but I really like The Mandalorian. It's really good. And then my wife has been on this kick lately of watching this show called My 700 Pound Life. It's on TLC.
There's a person in there that's from my town.
That's not surprising because you lived in the fast food capital of the world.
Yeah.
So obviously my wife, she recently had a medical procedure done, and it was pretty trying stuff, like it was hard for me to see my wife go under a knife. It was really scary for me as a husband. I care about my wife more than anybody on the planet, and it's really scary anytime you see that go on. But this show, it documents people who need to have bariatric surgery, and they get it done, and some of them, even after the surgery, like, beat the surgery.
Yeah, they beat the surgery, bro.
Yeah, kind of like
congrats, Wings.
The Wings meme or whatever. But it's such a scary show. Like, it shows you these people that are dealing with, in my opinion, it seems like a lot of them deal with some hardcore mental issues that lead to this food addiction, and it's just heartbreaking sometimes, but at the same time, sometimes it's heartwarming. Generally, the people make it, like they get through.
Yeah, they're not gonna air bad stuff all the time.
Yeah, but there's a few that got really dark, like really dark, and it's been kind of interesting to watch that. And then I watched something else this week, but I can't even really think of what it was. Everything's just been kind of a blur. And as far as playing stuff this week, I got back into Madden. That was kind of interesting.
You made a video.
I made a video. There's another one coming out. I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try as much as I can to do 4 to 5 uploads a week. I was thinking about doing every day, but I just don't know if that's really feasible. And I don't
Monday through Friday.
It might be too much. I don't know. Maybe Monday through Friday. Maybe just kind of a smattering throughout the week. But yeah, I've been playing Madden. It's been a little refreshing to get into that. It's been fun playing that again after taking a break. And Forza Horizon 4, always a good one. And then on the Switch Lite, I've been playing a lot of Super Nintendo games. If you have like the Nintendo Online, it gives you all these Super Nintendo games, which kind of disappoints me.
We're both playing old school Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm trying to beat, for the first time, I've never done it, but Mario Kart for the SNES, I never beat the 150cc. I never got gold on all of them, and I'm trying to do that right now, and it's really hard. It's just
Dude, Super Mario Bros.
Really hard.
Is low-key brutal. If you don't play with save states,
you
only get 3 lives.
You're talking the first the
first
NES
Mario game.
Yeah, it really separates the boys from the men, that's for sure. Because
there's like, if you die 3 times, I mean, 1-ups are hard to get. You have to get 100 coins.
They are pretty difficult to come across, and like sometimes you get that green mushroom, and that kind of bails you out. But I remember playing that as a kid, and it was pretty brutal, man. But I think games have kind of softened me up a little bit, because now I go back to that stuff and you can use save states, whereas when I was a kid, if you died, like I'm
trying to beat it without save states.
If you do, it feels like quite an accomplishment, because it's
gotten
not
past
easy to do
the second world without save states, but it's just you just gotta keep on going at it.
Yeah, the main thing that I think makes it difficult is some of the jumps as you get into the later levels get very difficult. There's two in particular that I can think of where you literally have to take a leap of faith, and you have to know how far to jump because it doesn't show you on the screen. It's pretty crazy. So that being said, we're moving on to listener questions, and we have none. So there you go, listener questions. Let's just cross that off the list right now. My wife said she was going to send one in, but she didn't. But she did watch.
Yeah, even your wife won't ask us questions. That's how lonely we are.
Yeah, it's been slow, dude. Like everything's kind of slowing down because of the holidays. My phone was ringing off the hook with job interviews and phone interviews and all that. And this week it's just been like, my phone's so dry it isn't even funny, just because I think most people are just so wrapped up in
mine
Christmas
has been recently. Technically, I turn off notifications, everything besides text.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So like right now my notifications, I had them turned off, but I turned them back on since I've been on the job search. Is Gmail, like my Gmail account. I have the notifications for that. I get text, phone calls, and I turned everything else off. Where like it'll give me the little red bubble, but it doesn't like send me push notifications.
I don't even get the red bubble. Like I turn it all off.
Oh really? That's funny, dude. That's funny. I mean, but that's fair. It feels pretty good. Like I turned off a lot of needless notifications recently, and it felt really like my push notifications got like turned all the way down. I used to have tweet notifications for several people, and for different reasons I had to take them off that list. Some of you guys overtweet, just saying. Like maybe space them out a little bit. No, it's definitely not you.
I don't tweet. I quit Twitter.
No, you're still on my notifications list. There's like maybe half a dozen other people.
I'm done with Twitter.
But I had one person who I was following them. I had tweet notifications on, and they got into like a series of sports arguments on Twitter, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm getting every notification for some stupid LeBron versus Michael Jordan.
That sounds like me.
Thing. But no, it definitely wasn't you.
I don't really argue Bron Jordan, but I sometimes like, I don't know. It hasn't been a while. But
have you ever followed someone who you can tell they're following a hashtag and they're going through and they're arguing with people, everybody that uses that hashtag?
No. I've had people do it though.
I've had those people. And I was like, okay, so we got to turn tweet notifications off for you, at least for a while. And then maybe we'll turn them back on when you stop. But like some people get really...
I don't call people out. I never call people out. They call me out.
Yeah, I mean, I got called out this week. I was told that I have a low IQ because I don't support the impeachment of our current president.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, that's one of the reasons I kind of quit Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know. We shouldn't talk about it, obviously.
Shouldn't talk about what?
But the impeachment.
I think it's a fair discussion to have. I mean, if you're well informed.
Sad, embarrassing time in our country, and people are celebrating it on Twitter. Even if you lean left or right, this isn't a good... It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, and my point is it's all a dog and pony show because we know flat out 100% I don't think we'll ever see a president impeached and actually removed from office. So, like, it was kind of like when the Republicans did this to Bill Clinton. they knew there was no way they would get the votes for removal from office. They would get the votes to embarrass him and do an impeachment trial, but they would never get the votes needed to remove from office. I think maybe Nixon, if he actually went through that process, may have gotten removed. But even then, I think that's a giant leap, and it is embarrassing, and I don't think that people should celebrate it. And, you know, my big thing is this, like, I get it. You might not like our current president. I didn't like everything from the Obama administration. I didn't like everything from the W administration or the Clinton one before that. And I can point out like very specific things in each administration that I think were problems for our country that weren't maybe as addressed as well as they should have been by said administrations. But you always want your president to be successful, because if the president's successful, generally the country is successful. And I would caution people to celebrate it too much, because it can cause, when you have issues where people think a government is volatile, even at the smallest degree of volatility, it affects the stock market, it affects the housing market, it affects the economy, and it can be very damaging. So I agree with you. I just think it's a really bad time for our country. Over nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are people out there who disagree with me. Email me at alex@deadchildduo.com, and you can tell me that I have a low IQ like I was told on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's something like the only reason I'm quitting Twitter, I guess, to go back to that. But
really,
it's kind of one of them. It's kind of like a, I guess the best way to explain, like, I don't know, no one's allowed to have their own opinion.
I don't know how
Either
we got
you agree
there.
with the mob or everyone hates you.
I just hate that we're there as a country, as a society now. Agree with me or you're stupid. Agree with me or you're a monster. You know, agree with me or we're going to ruin your entire life. You know, like, you can have differences of opinion and it doesn't have to get ugly. You know, like,
yeah,
I have some friends that have some very different views, very different worldviews from my own, and it never gets disrespectful. Like, that's the one thing. Like, I'm a Catholic. Yeah. I have several friends who are atheists. Not a problem. We can have those discussions. It never gets ugly. You know, I don't know. I just kind of miss people having the ability to have discord or discourse amongst each other and not having.
You don't have a Discord anymore.
Yeah. That had to end. That had to end. So, like, I know I had a Discord server and I was really happy with it for a long time, but recently there have been some things going on in my Discord server that I had to take it down. The amount of spam over nonsense in there, people talking about really weird stuff going on in Minecraft servers, and when I say really weird, I'm talking about sexual stuff with minors, and like I was like, this is not something that I want to have any association with whatsoever. So when that stuff started, I was like, okay, we gotta end that. But
all right, Alex.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. Continue.
No, I was just gonna say, but you know, maybe it'll come back one day. But I'm gonna have to have some rules. You know, like, yeah, no talk about that. No,
I mean, I don't know how Discord works. I barely use it, but I'm sure you can set like Colby to be a mod.
So here's the problem. Colby was a mod, and I think what ended up happening, and no offense to Colby, is I think sometimes I think he was probably afraid to take some of those messages out, thinking that I was going to, or somebody else was going to say that he was overly moderating.
Yeah.
You know, but in reality, the truth is, like, it had to go away. I'll set another one up, and there are certain people who are not going to be allowed back in. It's just not going to happen. But, and I honestly think one of those people, you know, I'll just come around and say, I think two of those people are the same person. If that makes sense. They're two people posing as different entities, but I'm fairly certain it's one person with two screen names. You know who I'm talking about. And that's where all the problems started because it got into this weird Minecraft thing.
I don't know. I never checked it, so I barely checked it.
I know.
I checked it from now and there. Did not lie.
You know, the worst part about it is I started to interact with the people that I really wanted to interact with on like from YouTube and all that.
Yeah.
And it got away from that. So I was like, what's the point?
Yeah. What's the point? I mean, I'd go on there and talk to Colby sometimes about basketball.
Well, I could tweet Colby or I could DM him. You know, like that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I can't stand reading that crap. And like where it got bad for me was I was like, my wife has talked about joining this Discord server. I do not want her reading this. This is not good. And then I started thinking about it more. I'm like, what if you go to my channel and then you join my Discord server and you go, this is the kind of stuff Alex likes?
Yeah.
That's really scary. So anyway, moving on, Andy.
Going back to Twitter, I guess, I have a question from my grab bag of questions, which is going to be all our topics this week, basically. This one's about Twitter. If Twitter existed back when Pluto was determined not to be a planet, do you think there'd be so much outrage that they'd make Pluto a planet again?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. So I think there would be more outrage because I remember there was quite a bit of outrage on Facebook. And I'll never get it to this day. I have no idea why people have an attachment to a giant rock that they'll never visit. But yeah, I think people would really... There would be a hashtag, you know, like hashtag Pluto as a planet or something. And it would be like this mob mentality. But then I think where it would be a no is I think the people in charge, which it's not NASA, by the way. There's like an international space community that makes these kind of designations. I forget their name at the moment. But I think they'd be like, nope, science. What do you think, Andy?
I don't know. I make up the questions, not the answers, I guess.
Okay, so in your... And when I say uneducated, you're not an, astronomer, right?
Yeah, I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, you're not that. You're not a physicist, but and that's why I say uneducated opinion, is Pluto a planet?
I don't care. Sure. Why not?
I don't know.
Why don't we make the moon a planet?
See, because that's not a planet.
Why? Why is it not a planet? It's just a big rock in space.
I think they go on. I want to say the qualification comes down to size, if I'm not mistaken. And the best way it was described to me...
And also Pluto's so far away.
Yeah. I think the biggest aha moment for me was when someone explained it. It was some astronomer whose name I forget, was basically saying if we make Pluto a planet, there's all these other space objects out there at that same range or a little bit further that we would also have to make planets. And I guess maybe we originally thought that it was bigger than it was. I'm trying to remember how it all went down, but I just don't think it's a planet.
Yeah.
It's sad,
Alexander.
though.
Do you know who Tim and Moby are?
No.
Interesting.
Wait, okay. So, Moby, like the DJ guy?
No. I feel like there's going to be some other youngins that will represent Tim and Moby with me. It was an old show. It was like an education show. At the start of every episode, they'll go, "Dear Tim and Moby." And they'll ask him a question, and Tim and Moby will explain the question.
Hold on.
It was we watched it in school. And Moby was an orange robot.
Oh, no way, dude. So, I don't think this was around when I was a kid, but I think it was around when...
Yeah, it was definitely around... Me and your sister are the same age.
Yeah, so, I feel like I've seen it with her before, and I typed in Tim and Moby, and the 8th image that came up is Tim and Moby fan art where they're kissing each other.
Oh, do you see the one to the left of it where Moby has a swastika on his head?
Yeah, that one's also great. And then the other one's wearing the The communist symbol, the sickle.
The hammer and sickle.
Hammer and sickle. You know, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but so I'm not for communism, and I'm certainly not a socialist, not by the textbook sense of the word. I think there are socialistic programs that are good, but the one thing the USSR had that I was always sort of jealous of is I think their national anthem sounds completely awesome. It is like one of the best national anthems ever. Not just because it was in Call of Duty, but it just sounds great. You know? That's what a national anthem should sound like. It should get you hyped up, man.
Saying that our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, doesn't get you hyped.
No, it's only good. So here's the thing about the Star Spangled Banner. It depends on who sings it, right? So if it's not Christina Aguilera singing it, it's not going to be good.
I hate when people remix it just to remix it.
In the Aguilera thing is a joke, by the way, for anybody out there listening. Just look up her singing the national anthem. She forgot the words. I think if you get like an amazing singer, like I'd love to have Clay Aiken sing the national anthem. I bet he does a real good rendition. Leanne Rimes does a really good rendition of the national anthem.
I couldn't tell you. Anybody does a great rendition of the national anthem.
Oh, when I go to a sporting event, I like it you like a good one.
I don't know. I think it's overplayed a bit.
My biggest pet peeve is when they have some little kid who can't sing. Like, I'm okay with it if it's a kid that can sing, but they'll there'll be some kid who won like a write-in contest, you know, like I love America, and he gets to sing the national anthem at a Magic game, and it's like terrible and awful, and you have to sit there through it, and then you have to clap for him at the end, like, oh, well, he tried. Well, no, still don't hand him a mic. Just a pet peeve of mine. Sorry. Wow, we got really off topic.
I mean, that's the show. We don't have any topics this week.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow week, man.
Yeah, Alex. If we were stuck on a deserted island and we could each bring 3 items and 1 listener, who and what do we bring?
Okay, so I'm going to be stuck on the island.
With me and a listener. And you get to pick who the listener is.
Okay. So the 3 items I would bring, I'd bring a utility knife. I would bring drinking water. No, it's a terrible item because we could probably find
water
it.
Purifier?
Water purifier. There you go. Water purifier, utility knife. I'm trying to think what else would be useful.
Rope.
There you go. A tent. There you go. Tent's perfect. Give me some shelter.
We get 6 items, by the way. I bring 3 too.
Okay, and then I have to pick a listener.
Yeah. We share the listener. I have one in mind.
Yeah.
That's Finks.
Yeah, because we could just sit around and talk movies.
I mean, he's reliable. He shows up every week.
Yeah, you know.
He comments.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with Sphinx, because I feel like first off, I don't even know what Sphinx looks like. So
yeah, no idea.
Yeah, he might as well just be a stranger to me. But I feel like he'd be pretty supportive. He always seems like a nice guy. Part of me wanted to say Bobby, because I feel like you and Bobby would kill each other within 24 hours.
He would try to kill me, and I'd just be like, what are you doing?
I'm just kidding. If you're out there listening, Bobby, it's just that would be like a personality clash that couldn't work.
I don't know. I'd bring a tent or a rope. I forgot which one the last one you said was.
Utility knife.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Water
tent
purifier.
Or rope. And then like a fire starter. Like a flint and steel, or something. We could do a always constant fire going, so we really need 1. And then my last item would be a boat.
It's a good one.
A yacht. A cruise ship.
I just kind of wonder.
That's my favorite answer. When everyone asks that question, what's one thing you'd bring? Cruise ship.
So hear me out. How hard do you think it is for a lay person who's never done it before? Let's say you did have a cruise ship. Do you think you'd be able to operate it?
I mean, you'd have to figure it out or die. So
Yeah. I don't know. I feel that way about an airplane. Like I did get to see the airplane of a cockpit of a commercial airplane one time, and it was pretty.
All their buttons are fake. It's only the joysticks. No, I'm kidding.
You talk to a pilot and they make it sound so simple, but I go in there and it's like.
I mean, once you learn what everything does.
I would assume so. I'd also assume there's a lot of things that probably don't get used on every flight. I don't know. If you're a pilot, let me know, how hard is it to fly a 747? Like, so if you passed out as a pilot and like some lay person had to land a 747, how hard would that be?
Land it in the Hudson River.
Like in that movie?
Yeah. Sully.
Yeah. How crazy is it that guy got so much flack after the fact, though? Everybody was like, "Oh, he did it purposely to make himself a hero," and all. Like, isn't it weird how people just can't believe somebody stepped up to the plate? We like automatically have to throw mud in the water and say, well, like maybe they did it purposefully. Like, so for example, the movie that Clint Eastwood did recently, where the guy who discovered the pipe bomb at the Atlanta Olympics.
Jewell.
Yeah, Richard Jewell. Richard Jewell was completely
just came out.
Completely thrown under the bus by the media. They made up this story, this false rhetoric that he faked it, all because like we refused as a nation to believe that somebody would just do the right thing. It's just
that movie has some controversy.
Why?
Because apparently it hates on the media and it portrays a real person that she has sex with another person to get info, even though the point of the story is the journalist didn't give him his time of day.
Okay.
And it's like a reversal on it.
I mean, I guess here's my take on it. If it really happened, unless they're presenting false facts in that movie, which I don't know if that person slept with whoever for whatever info, but unless they're presenting something that actually didn't happen and misrepresenting it as a true story, I really don't have a problem. Just saying. Also, the media should feel bad for what they did to that man.
Yeah. Alex, what is the best tasting food while intoxicated?
You gotta get them hot. It's really key that you get them when they're hot. Like right as soon as they come off. Crystal burgers. Crystal burgers. I've been told White Castle's better.
I drove past a million of them.
I've been told White Castle's better. I'm looking forward to trying White Castle. They're bringing one here to Orlando. I want to say in a year. So looking forward to trying that out. But you get those Crystal burgers when they're fresh. Hits the spot, man. What about you, Andy?
Wings.
After you go to church?
Hot wings.
Hot wings? That's a good one.
Hot wings at church?
Hot wings at church, man.
Bro. Game changer.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely got to be up there. Like, you go to a place that has really good wings. You have that with some beers with your buddies. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Rank these 5 shows, similar to the Simpsons one that we did a couple episodes ago. Seinfeld, The Office, Scrubs, That 70s Show, and Community.
All right, so I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers on this. I never thought Scrubs was that funny, so I'm going to put them at dead last. And then you said I have The Office, Seinfeld, That 70s Show, and Community?
Yep.
Okay. So this one, it tears at my heartstrings. I think Seinfeld is the greatest sitcom of all time. I just do. I think it's timeless. So it goes number 1 for me. After that, a close second is going to be The Office. I think The Office, while it's not for everyone, as someone who's worked in an office and dealt with a lot of the things that show makes fun of, I think it's perfect. But if you're somebody who's never worked in an office, it might not make so much sense for you. You might not totally understand what they're going for. And then I'll put Community at number 3 because I really love that show. And then I'll put That 70s Show at number 4. That one was really hard though because I really love the top 4. I really love them all.
That's what I try to do.
Even though That 70s Show, like the last few seasons were kind of
I mean, same with The Office. Same with Community.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. You know, and that's why I think Seinfeld is number 1 because it never had that lull. It kept the original cast intact. And even the characters around.
They never ended Seinfeld. He quit. Larry King.
Wait, really?
Ever seen that video?
No.
Larry King's like, they ended your show, and he's like, "What do you mean? I'm Seinfeld. It's the biggest show. I quit Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I ended the show."
Yeah, they didn't get canceled. They had, I think at the time, the biggest per episode TV contract ever. And NBC was more than happy to keep it going. It wasn't like, for example, The Office, where I know the last season the ratings were really low. NBC wasn't happy with it anymore. Community is another really good example where ratings really tanked and they kind of told them, we're not going to renew you. The last season of Community was a streaming only on Yahoo. I mean, that's how bad things got for them. What's your ranking on that, Andy?
Scrubs sucks. It's at 5.
Okay.
Scrubs is awful. I never got the appeal for it.
I'm not a medical person, so like if you are, maybe it does make sense.
That 70s Show at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then The Office at 3, so everyone can crucify me. Community at 2 and Seinfeld at 1.
Community's good, man. Like those first 4 seasons, it was just gold. It was just absolute gold. When they lost Chevy Chase, I thought that was a hit. I thought that was a blow. And then once Donald Glover left, I was like, they can't do it anymore. I still watched it, but like it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
It's like the Abed character really only makes sense if you have. And by the way, Danny Putty, he's great. He's awesome. He should get more work. But that Abed character really only works if there's Troy and Donald Glover. Yeah. I don't know.
Alex.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start all these topics with Alex.
Okay.
What is the greatest game show of all time?
I think it's Jeopardy. I'd have to say Jeopardy. And I think Alex Trebek is probably... If I have to go with number 2, it's going to be Wheel of Fortune. And that's a credit to Alex Trebek, Pat Sajak, and Vanna White. Like, they are all amazing to have that kind of longevity on TV. The most fun game show, though, like if I'm talking about the one that I found the most entertaining, because Jeopardy is kind of boring for some people, but I like it because it's just me. But
yeah,
if we're talking like most entertaining game show, I would say Price is Right. Oh, that's up there too. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Jeopardy. What's your thoughts, Andy?
Yeah, we gotta stop agreeing. It's Jeopardy.
I thought you were gonna throw me for a loop, and you'd be like, "Nope, American Idol," because that's a game show. America's Got Talent. That's a game show. I don't care what anybody says.
The Amazing Race, The Voice.
You know what? One of my biggest pet peeves about America's Got Talent is like sometimes the people that almost win, or in some cases the people that do win, like they're not stand-up comedians or, you know, something that's like they're like little side shows, like little 15-minute shows, and you're like, nobody's gonna pay for a ticket to watch these people for an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just my take.
Cash Cab.
Cash Cab?
That's great.
Totally forgot that show was even a thing.
Fear Factor.
Fear Factor was tight, man. Fear Factor was a good show.
The Miz was on there. Have you ever seen like the Joe Rogan gets an argument with the contestant?
No.
It's like a huge thing. It's like one of the reasons he quit the show. He gets in like a huge I forget what happens. He gets in an argument with the person, and then the Miz is just in the background.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just like chilling there.
It's weird that the Miz started off as a like reality TV person, and then he turned into a wrestler, and he was the world's champion at one point.
That was kind of his gimmick, though.
It is, yeah. It's just weird how that works, man. Now he's doing like the Marine 18. You know, he does all those WWE films.
They're great.
Well, you know it, dude. There was one that he did. It was a Christmas movie, and it had like the dumbest name.
Santa with Muscles 2.
No, it wasn't
Electric
Santa.
Boogaloo.
It wasn't Santa with Muscles, but oh my god, that's such a bad movie. I think it used to be the worst on IMDb, but somebody else put something else above it.
Yeah, it's the Disaster movie. We talked about that on episode. I don't remember, but I went back and watched. Every once in a while, I check out an old episode to see what's popping.
Yeah.
And then we talked about that.
Yeah.
We talked about that in the first film club. That's what it was.
Oh, the first film club. Okay.
We reviewed They Live. What is the best late night talk show?
Oh.
I guess host more than an actual show. Because it's really about the host.
So I was always like the one guy who I always liked. I know some people like Conan, and he's really funny, but Craig Ferguson, I used to like his show. I was sad when it was over. If I had to pick like a current one, I'd say Conan.
Yeah, Conan's best. Love Conan.
You know who was also pretty good was when he had one, George Lopez. George Lopez had a show. And then it got
George Lopez show. Classic.
No, not the George Lopez.
That was a late night show.
Yeah, it was, but a lot of people might not even remember this, but George Lopez had a late night talk show on TBS, and then when Conan came over, they bumped his show back, and it just never really recovered.
Yeah, I like Conan. He's only I don't watch him live, but the only one I watch clips of is him. It's sometimes Letterman, but it's just really random.
It's so crazy to think, like, I see Jimmy Kimmel on his show, and it just still blows my mind that now he's so watered down and he's so politically correct and all that. But that's the same guy who did The Man Show on Comedy Central. And if you don't know what The Man Show is, look it up. It's wild. They could have never made that show today.
Yeah.
But then again, you say that about a lot of stuff, but like Key and Peele, their show on Comedy Central, it was pretty politically incorrect, but it was funny, so people just kind of, it's cool.
Comedy.
Yeah, I like it.
Love all those sketch comedy shows. The Chappelle Show. Do you ever watch this one's like every time I mention it to someone that like I already don't know they've seen it. Mm-hmm. No one's ever seen it, but The Whitest Kids You Know. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I love that
That's
show.
one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah. It's a good...
So, since you know about it, time for me to flex a little bit. Do you know who Timmy is? The actor, Timmy? He's like the short, fat one?
I think so, but I'm not quite certain.
If you looked him up, he's he's really recognizable. Well, Timmy follows me on Letterboxd.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I was like starstruck. He only has like 200 followers, something like that. But I was like, oh my god. Like, I don't know. I watched them like every day in middle school.
Yeah, it's a good show. I highly recommend people go check that one out. Same thing with Key and Peele. Chappelle Show, if you can find it. Nick Kroll had a sketch comedy show for a while. That was really good. I don't think he's still doing it.
Nathan For You. It's not really sketch, but
Yeah.
same category, I guess.
Yeah.
So one last one before we get to Film Club. Cold or hot pizza?
Yeah, I'm a hot pizza guy, but
I mean, like, whenever you're doing leftovers, obviously.
If it's early in the day, cold. If it's later in the day, hot. I'm weird like that. Andy, how do you feel?
I eat cold pizza while the pizza's heating up. So it's both, I guess.
I've done that too. I'm not gonna lie. Some of my fatter moments, I've done that. But
call me out.
well, no,
kidding.
I mean, like, I'm terrible, dude. Like, there's like certain foods that I know I can't have in my life on a regular basis. Like, pizza's one of them. I'll never forget. I went on this one business trip for the company that I will not name for legal reasons, but I was on a business trip, and the way we would do it was we would rent out a house, and like we'd get one of these big houses that like families would rent when they go on vacation. They have like 8 kids, so like these houses were massive. So we'd order food in, and someone made the terrible decision to order way too much pizza. I mean, I'm talking about day one, they ordered...
I mean, there's never too much pizza.
Dude, I was so sick of pizza after that business trip because it's all we ate for the next 3 days. And like, after day 2, I was like, I don't even want to see a pizza. But I am bad about it, man. Like, if there's a pizza in the house, pizza, like, I'm gonna nibble on it.
I haven't had delivery pizza forever since I live like 40 minutes from a store.
Yeah.
Currently, so.
Yeah. I remember that one video you did where you ordered a Domino's pizza and you like vlogged it on your way there at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, you thought I was with people, and I was by myself.
And then you opened it up, and it had like the video title in it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh god, it was so good. It was good. That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a creative way to do a video. I appreciate those little things. So,
well, I try to make good videos. That's kind of why I quit.
You know, it sucks because like I feel like I've kind of been there myself. You know, like, I'm afraid to upload stuff that isn't Madden, because the first thing everybody says is, why isn't this Madden? Even though my channel's never been completely Madden. Like, I don't know. Oh no, we lost our guest. I guess he didn't watch Krampus, so you know, he had to drop. But
yeah, it's just the girls now. Me and you.
Yeah, it's just the girls. It kind of stinks, but yeah, like, you know, I've hit those walls. I feel like I'm there now, and yeah, I don't know. I get, you know, I didn't always, like, I always had the crutch of like, oh, my job is just taking way too much of my time, so I'm not uploading as much on YouTube. And now, you know, obviously the job search is a big thing that I spent hours on every day, but still, like, I should be uploading more, but sometimes I just don't feel really great about the stuff I put out.
Even though I don't make videos, I don't know, it's always on the mind. Like, I don't know.
It is.
I always plan.
I wish I could become a full-time content creator one day, and I respect the hell out of the people who managed to make that work.
I don't know. I don't know when there's going to be a point to where I don't want to make content. Even though I don't make it, like, I don't know. It's not like I don't want to make it.
That's kind of where I've been landing lately, is like, I don't want there to be a period in my life where I don't do it, like where I don't have content, where I'm not making content. But one of my biggest fears is losing that, you know, because then I'm like, well, then I lose this piece of me that means a lot. And it's my hobby. And like, I know I've already had people come to me and be like, well, just do the podcast and just leave it at that. And it's like, well, I never sat down and said, I want to just be a podcaster. It's just not my passion. I like making a video.
Controversy.
No, not controversy at all.
Yeah, I know. I kind of every once in a while, I just get like an urge to do stuff like do game reviews.
Yeah, I think really the key is just to do stuff that you're passionate about. Do a video. If you do a video and you have fun making it, just throw it up. And I think I kind of have to get myself into that phase too, you know, where I made something I liked making it, and here it is, for better or for worse. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
We're kind of different though, because I don't care about views like at all. I used to. I had that rebuild channel I posted on like in August. I'd get like close to 1,000 views a video, and I could not care less. I just didn't think the content was good, so I quit.
It's fair.
Like I genuinely was like, what is this? I don't know.
I care about views to a point. I mean, it is nice to get views, but I think like at this point, knowing that I'll probably never blow up or anything, it's mainly about making content that I'm proud about. Like recently I worked on a project for, and by the way, this is one of the reasons I deleted my Discord, was I worked on a project for Ashley's cousin, and I filmed some stuff at one of his football games, and I took clips from previous games and I threw it all together, and you know, I was really happy with how it came out, and just to see her family watch it and enjoy it, something that I created, like it made me happy. And like that's just kind of what like my end goal is make content that, one, I'm proud about, like that video, and two, maybe it helps brighten someone's day, even if it's in the smallest way possible. Even if it's just, hey, they watched it for 20 minutes in the background and it made cooking dinner like a little more enjoyable for them. Or, you know, like I've had people say I watch your videos when I like do my homework or something, and it's on the background. Well, if it makes that more fun for you, because I know it's not, you know, that's great. You know, same thing with the podcast. If somebody's listening to it at work and it gets them through the workday, like that's awesome. It makes me feel good. And
or
that's
driving to work.
I'm sorry. Yeah, driving to work. Listen to DCD. Get out.
We'd never advocate you to take your time, on company's dime. I'm kidding. Do whatever you want. I'm just joking.
Yeah, just you know, just know that corporation, they'll screw you over in a heartbeat. So, you know, don't get too caught up in like,
so
maybe don't use that.
This went a little bit longer than DCD Film Club. Pick this week was Ashley's pick.
Yeah. And
it was Krampus from 2015, directed by Michael Dougherty. The same director did Trick or Treat, our Halloween special. So he's, you know, the year of Michael Dougherty, I guess.
Yeah.
Alexander, what do you think of it?
So I really liked it for what it was. I watched this with my wife. It was the first time I had seen it. It was the first time she had seen it. And I liked the way it was shot. I liked the level of suspense. Like, you just, like, there's no... They hint at the Krampus creature, and, you know, it's like little things happen that make you feel like it's coming. But then there's finally that payoff, and it's a good payoff. It doesn't take itself too seriously, so it reminded me a little bit of Trick or Treat, where there are some moments where you can tell it's not meant to be completely serious as a horror film, but I think it's done in a really well and tasteful way. And I think at the very end, I love the ending of it. You know, I like how they brought it all full circle. This kid can't stand his family. He's annoyed by them. And, you know, at the end, he sees something take away his family like he wishes would happen, and he instantly regrets it. And then at the very end, you see that, like, he kind of appreciates his family more now. But then they have that little teaser at the end, you know, where the little bauble, bell, whatever, like, he gets it as a gift from Krampus, like to kind of remind him, like, you're being watched.
I mean, the
that
ending,
kind of thing.
The ending, I think, is a dream.
Yeah.
So I don't think that happened.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I had a different interpretation. I liked it. I think it had some funny moments in there. Me and my wife got a couple chuckles out of it. And the only thing I really didn't like was Krampus's helpers. I thought they looked like too jokey, not serious enough. And then, the actual Krampus character, I thought the special effects on that were really good. Overall, for what it's supposed to be, I think it's successful. It's supposed to be a Christmas movie, and it'll be fun and exciting for the whole family, and it's a different take on a Christmas movie, but it still has a good message to it about how even though your family might be annoying, they're one of your best assets. They're one of the things that make your life better overall. And I enjoyed watching it. Is it cinema gold? No, but it's not setting out to do that anyway. Andy, what do you think?
Nothing. Literally, I don't feel passionate in that it's a good movie or a bad movie.
So, that's all your thoughts on it?
Yeah, literally, like, I don't know. Nothing. It's not a good movie. It's not bad.
Boy, this one fell flat.
I don't know. I don't have that much opinions about it. Sorry.
Well, there you go. DCD Film Club. Out of 10, I gave it a 6.5.
I gave it a 4.
Well, I'd recommend if you're kind of bored of the run-of-the-mill Christmas movies that always have the really happy endings and all that. Like this is a cool one. It's a cool one.
Oh, Rick.
Oh, Rick's back. So, Rick, what'd you think about Krampus?
Best movie ever, man. 10 out of 10.
All right, there we go. Rick Moranis gave us his vote on DCD Film Club, and we're ready to move on to Andy's pick for next week. What have you got for us, Andy?
I guess similarly to you, my pick isn't my pick. It's actually Jared or Spoon Sandwich's pick. So I guess it's a guest pick. I don't know. So he's picking a Hallmark Christmas special, which has been controversial because recently they pulled I think it was, I don't remember what it was, but it was like they pulled like an LGBTQ community ad, and like they're in like hot water about it.
Wow.
So, something like that. I remember.
That's pretty shocking.
But
didn't expect that from the greeting card people.
Our Hallmark movie this year is Every Christmas Has a Story from 2016. It's like $5 in every streaming service. So,
well, I guess I'm gonna add it to my Voodoo collection because I don't have the Hallmark channel.
It stars someone we've talked about in DCD before, Lori Loughlin.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh man, Aunt Becky
And Colin Ferguson.
Well, there you go. We're checking out Every Christmas Has a Story in 26. I don't know him either, but I'm gonna just pretend like I do. So, I'd see him in anything. So yeah, that's gonna be DCD Film Club next week. Should be interesting. I think we'll get plenty of laughs out of this one. I can't wait to watch it with my wife.
He's angry with our pick.
Rick's just very upset about the pick. It's a tough time of year for him, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, Andy, week 16 NFL picks. Let's get into it.
Last week, I went 10-6. You went 11-5. bringing our totals to I have record of 137, 96, and 1, or 59%. You have a record of 129, 104, and 1 at 55%.
Mm.
And our consensus picks are 92 and 49, 65%. And split, I lead you 45, 37, and 1.
Well, there you go.
You got 2 weeks to catch up to me.
Well, I don't know how likely that is, but we shall see how it goes.
Starting off with Saturday morning football. The 9-5 Houston Texans at the 7-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Going with the Houston Texans.
I'm going to go with Tampa Bay at home. I like how they've been playing lately.
We have the 10-4 Buffalo Bills at the 11-3 New England Patriots. And I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. It's the upset.
I'm going to go Patriots here.
We have the 8-6 Los Angeles Rams at the 11-3 San Francisco 49ers. Going with the best team football, 49ers.
Yeah, I'm going to go 49ers here as well.
We have the 5-9 Jacksonville Jaguars, the 5-9 Atlanta Falcons, going with the Atlanta Falcons.
I am going to I'll take the Jaguars here.
We have the 1-13 Cincinnati Bengals, the 3-11 Miami Dolphins. The matchup of the week, going with the Dolphins.
I'll take the Dolphins here.
We have the 12-2 Baltimore Ravens, the 6-8 Cleveland Browns, going with the Ravens.
You know I'm taking the Ravens here.
You know the Browns are the only team in the NFL to not have a winning season in 2010s, the entire decade.
I did see that statistic, and it's very damning of the job their owner has done, because he's cycled through front offices and coaches like nobody's business. So, who's left but you, pal?
The 11-3 Saints at the 8-6 Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans.
I'm going Saints.
We have the 5-9 Carolina Panthers at the 6-8 Indianapolis Colts, going with the Colts.
I'll go Colts as well.
In our game of the week, number 2, the New York Giants versus the Washington Redskins, both at 3-11. And I'm going to go with the Redskins, I guess.
I'll go Washington here.
We have the 8-6 Steelers at the 5-9 New York Jets, going with the Steelers.
This is a must-win for the Steelers, so I think they pull out that win.
3-10-1 Lions at the 5-9 Broncos, going with the Broncos.
Yeah, I like the Broncos situation a little bit better than the Lions. I just don't think the Lions have any answers at QB right now.
The 6-8 Oakland Raiders at the 5-9 Los Angeles Chargers. Raiders have to win this to make the playoffs, but I have the Chargers winning.
I'll take the Raiders here. I like them.
7-7 Dallas Cowboys at the 7-7 Philadelphia Eagles. Winner wins the division, basically. I'm going to go with the Eagles.
I'm going to go Cowboys.
4-9-1 Arizona Cardinals at the 11-3 Seattle Seahawks, going with the Seahawks.
Yeah, I really want to believe in the Cardinals, but they keep letting me down, so I'm going to go Seahawks here.
The 10-4 Kansas City Chiefs at the 7-7 Chicago Bears, going with the Chiefs.
You know, I really like the Bears. I've picked them way too many times this year, but I got to go Chiefs here.
11-3 Green Bay Packers at the 10-4 Minnesota Vikings. Gonna go with the better team, in my opinion, the Green Bay Packers.
I disagree on both points. I think the better team is the Vikings, and I think they're going to win this game.
We'll see.
We'll see. It's going to be a good one. I think that this is why the regular season is so much fun to me, because we have games that have intrigue down the line. Packers, Vikings, Cowboys, Eagles, Raiders,
Cincinnati,
Chargers,
Miami.
Cincinnati, Miami, Dalton, Fitzpatrick. Who's gonna tank? Who's gonna tank harder? Even though I know they're not tanking,
Giants,
the
Redskins.
players aren't tanking, but the front offices are tanking. So I don't know. Anyway, that's gonna do it for DCD 60. Want to thank our guest Rick Moranis for his contributions. I know it was really hard for him to make
Where can we
our
check you out,
recording
Rick?
time.
Nowhere. I quit everything.
Okay, well, it was good to have you back, and you're welcome on anytime.
I didn't even attempt in it.
Well, we'd love to have
Rick Moranis. He has a weird voice.
I know.
You need some water, Rick?
Yeah, we got some water right here for you.
You want some water? Oh, he left.
He left. Oh, well, yeah. Well, yeah, Rick. Thanks for coming on, and we appreciate it. And you're welcome on anytime.
Anytime.
Yeah. Anyway, as always, got DCD shirt link in the description. If you buy one of those, we get about $6. Our Patreon can be found at patreon.com/DCD podcast. And you get all kinds of perks, man. But my favorite is you get early access to each episode every week for as little as $1 a week. And then also want to thank our current Patreon backers. We have, I hope that you know what? We haven't updated that yet. So we have Bobby in the Andy tier, Dumbest Sphinx in the Egg tier, and Daniel and Jared in the gold tier. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. You guys literally keep this podcast going from a cost perspective. And then other than that, you can leave us a review on iTunes. That's absolutely free. Or you could sub to us on YouTube. That helps us out tremendously, because once we get to 100 subs, we could do our own custom URL on YouTube, which will be really cool. And then other than that, there's one. Oh yeah, go to deadchannelduo.com. You can find every platform that we're on. So check it out. Try it out. Andy, anything else you want to say before we get out of here, man?
I feel like no one ever listens to what I say at the end, so I'm gonna keep on just recommending stuff.
Okay.
Go watch The Dark Side of Oz.
All right. There you go. Go watch The Dark Side of Oz, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Adios.